I guess the traditional line with SEO is it's a long game.
Mm,
We usually say to clients, particularly because just what the average person can actually afford,
yeah.
sort of expect to see results within the sort of 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
But and here's the famous SEO line, it depends.
Mm,
Um, so if you essentially everything is a balance of time and money. As business owners, that's like the golden rule. If I don't have money to pay for it, I need time to do it myself,
yes.
right? So SEO is no different. If you've got a ton of money that you can throw at it and you can pay for people to output if anywhere between 4 to 6 blogs for you a month, and to create all those pages and get your website up within a month, and to coordinate, cross-channel optimization with, matching keywords and content and things like that. If you've got the resources to do that, you can get really quick results. But
Mm,
what the average person can actually afford in terms of resources means that for most people, SEO does take usually about 6 months of consistent effort. Um, and that's because there are layers to the way that uh, a system like Google understands what a website is, um, and what your business is. So it's not just looking at your business, it's looking at your social profiles, it's looking at your directory listings, it's looking at anywhere that you've been mentioned on the internet and kind of collating all of this stuff. So it looks at all these different aspects of what we would call your digital profile or your digital footprint.
mm,
And it starts to gather all that information and it relates it back to what we call entities. So entities is far more important in Google than keywords. Keywords is just how the majority of people who are not SEOs, and even still the majority of SEOs actually, that's still how we understand, you know, how to speak to the system essentially.
mm,
But the way that it really does it is through entities. So it has this idea of like topics or ideas or concepts, and
mm.
then keywords make up those entities. And they do them in like these kinds of think of them like clusters essentially. So related clusters that make up that concept or idea or topic. So what it does is essentially you fit within these ideas, right? And so it takes time to build that up.
So if you were if you were talking to a business owner and they
Yeah.
said, okay, I'm going to do some stuff myself to start with, and I'm happy to invest the time and I'm going to appreciate that it is a 6+ months exercise,
Yeah.
would there be like a top 3 to 5 things that you would have them focus on?
Depends on what kind of business it is.
Hmm.
Because content, like just putting out blogs or whatever is not going to be the best course of action for every business. But for the majority, it's going to be a case of, you know, let's really look at your website, let's look at your connections, um, and let's figure out what are you actually offering. So the first thing is like, what are your services? What are your products? And that's usually the starting point for us is really get your offering down and understand that within the concept of entities or
Mm,
the concept of keywords as we talk about it. Um, and then we can use that to optimize, you know, your service pages or category pages. If you're doing e-commerce or anything like that, that's usually our first port of call, is to look at those category pages,
mm,
because they can bring in a lot more of that middle funnel traffic, than what your product pages will. So you're kind of building that idea of, this is who I am, this is what I sell, this is what I do. And then other things to kind of focus on is your imagery. Like, have original images wherever possible. Look, and no hate to the stock images, truly. But I would say that they're really cracking down and making it hard for people to even use them. And I think people users, they do respond better to that.
mm.
But it also gives you a point of difference for trying to rank in image search as well. So you can optimize those images in the alt text specifically. So the idea of that is to describe the image, but
Oh.
because it's an accessibility thing for blind people, right? If they can't see exactly what the image is, then they can use that alt text is used to read out what the description of the image is. But if it's something that's really specific to your business, then you can put those keywords in and you can optimize for that. So that's really handy, especially if you're in products, especially if you're in like any kind of service where you do design, like interior design, or outdoor design, anything like that. If you build stuff, paint stuff, okay, if you deal with stuff in any capacity, physical things, get original images, and yeah, start optimizing those, get those in image search, because a lot of people also do like to look for things that way as well.
And is that why we should name them correctly, like the file name of the
Yes.
image?
Yeah. Only because it gets pulled into that into the metadata, and robots can read it, right?
Yeah.
So they go, if they can read the name and it's just 0000138,
IMG, yeah.
IMG, PNG, then it goes,
Underscore unsplash because I bought it from my bloody stock site. Yeah.
yeah, a bot doesn't know that that's not important. It just goes, oh, that has something to do with the image.
Mm,
So if you can name them correctly, that's really good. If you can optimize alt text where it's appropriate,
yeah.
um, with some keywords, that can be really great, and compress them as well. Images will bog down your page speed really, really quickly. So images are a really important part that we focus on. Oh gosh, what else? I've already talked so much about. It's
No,
only been like two
I mean, it's
things.
so interesting. Like, even like, I know we kind of went, there's so many elements to SEO, or search engine optimization. And it's like, even that, like mentioning page speed, like load speed, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's why it is interesting for business owners, because they do go, have I ticked off SEO? It's like, no,
You will never
there's
tick off SEO.
no. And then the Google gods will change the rules and we'll be doing something else.
Yes, the Google gods.
The Google gods. That's how I describe SEO. I'm like, SEO is appeasing the Google gods. That's what it is. Sometimes business owners say to me, I've tried everything and I don't know what else to do. And I'm like, I guarantee you haven't tried everything. Like SEO is one of those tasks where it's like, yeah, as we've described today, if you're a business owner sitting there going, what the hell else do I do to try and grow my business? It's like, well, maybe once a week or once a month, you should be going, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z in contribution to SEO, because it is something that stacks up over time, and it is something that you need to
Yeah.
consistently, work on. Because I Google women in business because I'm usually updating their listing in our directory or something.
Yeah.
For some women and some businesses, that you can't find a profile picture, you can't find a logo, and I'm now going, I guarantee you that's because their file names aren't correct and they haven't been indexed, and so they're not showing up for their own business.
Well, probably more like they don't have any alt text on
Yeah.
those images.
Mm.
So, yeah, incorrect name, but
Yeah.
also they probably haven't put the alt text things like, what's that for? And just gone, too many things, and just
Oh
moved
my
on.
God, that's going to be like the subject of this podcast. Sort your alt text out,
Sort
ladies.
your alt text. You know what kick-ass ladies do? They have alt text.
Yes.